That's unavoidable. Okay, so let me change the view. So wonderful to be here with everyone on our Wednesday cultivating tranquility themed meditation. And boy, do I appreciate these practices. I've probably used them thousands of times, and still they're just as effective for me, just as valuable for me to integrate into my practice, my own practice. Yeah, Adrian, so I have a new YouTube channel, and you'll find it on the website. I've just put 2 videos up there so far. So if you see my new website, tanyamahar.com, you'll see it's a brand new squeaky clean YouTube channel with the same name. So thanks for asking. It's a good question. Okay, so let's settle in. Let's get right into the practice. And I think with the theme, this cultivating rest and tranquility, calm in mind and body, taking extra care to truly do our best to find a comfortable position for the body. And that might mean really settling into the support of a chair. If you're sitting in a chair, lying down, getting very comfortable sitting on a cushion. Might mean kind of shifting your posture a little bit to find that sweet spot where you feel like you can maintain some attention, but also deeply relax. So I love beginning with the breath, bringing attention to the breath, and in particular, the ratio breathing technique that I've led a number of times. So I will just take a few minutes to do that, starting by bringing the attention to the breath, the natural breath, and noticing where your attention is connecting to the breath in your body. Is it with one particular sensation or area? Is it more global, kind of a whole body experience of the breath? It might change as we hang out with the breath. So just being aware of how you are experiencing the breath in this moment. Breathing in and out through the nostrils if that's available for you. And inviting the eyes to close if that's comfortable for you. Being very free to keep them open if that works better. So we're connected to the natural breath, but we're now going to engage in a very gentle control, altering the exhales in particular, inviting them to lengthen and slow. So the inhalations are natural. The exhalations, we're going to invite them to lengthen. And it can be helpful to count silently in your mind the length of every inhalation, the length of every exhale. Because then we know, oh, my inhale was a 3 count. I'm going to see if I can extend that to a 4. Maybe a bit longer. And we're kind of thinking about trying to double the length of the inhale. But it's really important we don't make too much effort. It's a very soft, easy effort. I like to use the word invitation. Just kind of inviting that space for the exhale to lengthen. And this breath, I won't take up too much time talking about it, but it's a great tool to use if we're ever feeling a little stressed or anxious, a little rushed, a little caught in the mind space. And it's a really beautiful way to support the nervous system, because by changing the ratio of oxygen and carbon dioxide, it is having this physiological result within the body to let the parasympathetic nervous system know it's okay, we can rest. All of these functions in the body can operate more optimally, can take us out of the stress, fight, flight, sympathetic side. So today we're going to work with the body by doing a sweeping Vipassana style body scan. And I'm going to invite everyone to bring your attention into your feet. And the question I'm going to ask you over and over is, how do you know that they exist in this moment without going into the mind, without relying on a visual image of what they might look like, the position they're in, any memory you have, but the moment to moment actual experience. And for you, that may show up as a little bit of pressure where they're making contact with something else. Maybe there's some heat or tingling. Throbbing. And it's really important that we conduct this investigation with a very open, curious, and friendly attitude. So even if we encounter challenging sensations, discomfort, pain, doing our best to lean in, to open. Interesting. Here's a sensation. What can I learn about it? And we may also encounter an experience of spaciousness or nebulosity, an experience of the body that doesn't feel very solid, kind of feels like this changing cloud of energy. So we can also really inhabit that more subtle experience within the body space. So we'll scan our attention now up into the lower legs. You could do the right leg first and then the left, or hold them both in your attention at the same time. Noticing any sensations that are present here. You may also notice areas of the body that are holding tension, that feel a little tight or constricted. And feel free on an exhalation to soften that, or at least extend the invitation to soften. The body will do what it will do. So we try not to get too attached to a particular state or outcome, but we can invite the body to open and soften if we notice that it's a bit tight or there's some bracing happening in the body. And we'll now bring the attention to the knees. looking for even the most subtle, subtle sensations, developing our sensory clarity to notice finer and finer aspects of our experience. And now we'll bring the attention into the upper legs, the thighs. And as we travel through this exploration, we may notice, well, I'm not sure I feel like these like two thigh-shaped sensations. You may feel just a cloud of sensation. You may feel throughout that entire area of your body just a kind of local sensation in one part of the upper leg. So if you have an itch, for example, somewhere on the thigh, that may be the only sensation present that you're connecting with in this part of the body. So as we travel along with this practice, we can just kind of check in with that spatially. What is my experience like of the body as I travel with my attention? Sometimes it might feel like there are gaps as we sweep along the body. There's a relative lack of sensation, spacious kind of emptiness. So we can appreciate that and really inhabit and soak that in. So we'll bring the attention now into the hips. Asking ourselves what sensations are present in this part of the body. The lower belly, the lower back, the sides of the body, and what can sometimes happen is while we're investigating a particular area of the body, the mind's attention will get pulled into thoughts, perhaps to a different area of the body that has a loud, kind of strong or more intense sensation. So when that happens, as soon as you realize you've kind of left the area that we're focused on, just gently bring the attention back. And doing our best to let everything else kind of fade into the background. Not getting caught or engaging with any other sensory event. And we'll move the scan up into the mid-torso, up past the belly button, into the mid-back. Including the sides of the body, including kind of deeper into the torso. There may be sensations more in the core of the body, pressure, fullness, maybe movement. Well, there is movement that we can detect from the breathing that we're doing, change in sensation. But also there might be a gurgle happening in the stomach, the beating of the heart. And we will include now the upper chest. So lots of change that we can detect. This feeling of pressure building in the chest as we inhale. That diaphragm muscle engages, makes some effort to draw air into the body. Perhaps a feeling of expansion. And then as you exhale, notice the change of the sensations. And if we wanted to kind of drop a level of mind with all of those changes that we attribute to the breath, we could do our best to not assume that those sensations are related to the breath, to not need to know why they're happening, not ascribe any meaning to them. Just know them as sensation. We can bring our attention now into the fingers and hands with our body scan, investigating this part of the body. And being very open to being a little surprised by our experiences as we travel through the body. And how they change moment to moment. As I'm sitting here, I'm kind of toggling between not really feeling much in the way of sensation, this spaciousness, this emptiness, and this experience of a very large kind of cloud of a kind of subtle fog of sensation. And that sensation spatially feels quite large for me in this moment, probably like a basketball size ball of sensation. So we can experience these sensations in that way, in the spatial kind of investigation as well. How much space does it seem to be taking up? How intense is it on a scale of 1 to 10? Perhaps it's changing as I'm staying with it and observing. And we'll now sweep the attention up past the wrists into the lower arms. Into the elbows. And if you're moving deeper into the practice and my suggesting you even have elbows doesn't make a lot of sense to you right now, don't try to find them. If you're experiencing these sensations in a more raw way, not so much conceptual through the mind, stay with that. And then we can sweep our attention into the upper arms. And the beauty of this practice, as soon as my attention came to my upper arms, my shoulders automatically relaxed. It's like I barely caught the tension there. So this can be a beautiful practice to bring this attention into the body. The body sometimes can kind of exercise its own intelligence, mind release tension as my awareness came into this area. And again, we can also deliberately invite that softening. And bringing the attention into the shoulders if you haven't already. The backs of the shoulders, the top, the front, deeper inside the body, in the area of the shoulders. And we'll bring the attention into the area of the neck, the front and the back, the sides. You may notice the sensations that arise and pass as you swallow. And now sweeping up into the area of the jaw. To the mouth. Inside the mouth. And noticing sensations inside the mouth. Is your tongue making contact with something, your teeth? Perhaps the tip of the tongue is touching the roof of your mouth. Does it feel dry or moist? And how would you describe that sensation? Is there warmth? To the lips. And really getting as close to these sensations as possible. Almost like you're experiencing them from within the sensations themselves. Just doing your best. To the nostrils, our attention, all of our attention, working our concentration to maintain our attention. Now bringing our attention to the sides of the face, the cheeks, the ears, the outer ear, maybe even the inner ear. Perhaps there's some sensations present that you can connect to. Now bringing our attention to the eyes, the eyelids, and if it feels like there's any tension in the eyes, it can be helpful sometimes to invite the outer corners of the eyes to soften. And up to the forehead with our attention. If there's any little strands of tension there, we could invite them to dissolve. Including the back of the head and the top of the head. So for the last couple of minutes of the practice, you could hold the entire physical body space in your attention at once. You could, with an exhalation, invite any residual tightness or tension, bracing to soften. If there are uncomfortable sensations, you can acknowledge them, doing our best to allow them to be there exactly as they are. Just giving them the space without pushing them away, without contracting around them. But we can also soften around those sensations, the discomfort. We can maybe even see if we can weave some softness through them. And doing our best to not go into the story about why they're there, any history, any need for it to be different, any plan in the future. Just for this moment, feeling every cell in the body opening to what is.